And I'm aware that my parents didn't have it easy either, and that they did the best that they could. But hitting us the way that they did, you know, it just wasn't okay. My brother caught like a huge brunt of that force. And I caught a lot of it too, but he caught it far worse than I did. And I don't want to put any of that in here, but I feel like I need to talk about it in order to have this project do what it needs to do, and it's to get all of this out of me and make some sort of sense out of all the things that have happened. We grew up throughout all that. Me and my brother weren't super close because we'd get each other in trouble and he'd bully me and I would fucking break his shit and like fight each other. But I did learn a lot, and I learned I liked tech. I learned I liked cameras and stuff. About to be 25, and I was around when dial-up was a thing. I was around. But it is a sweet spot to live in because it was right as we were transitioning into technology being normal. So I got all the benefits of like learning technology as it was coming out. I also got to experience a lot of the early 90s kind of vibe, you know, the shows, the music, the styles and stuff like that. So I did get my culture. I can speak, read, and write Spanish, maybe a little better with English, but I got into a sweet spot for timing, and it had a lot of impact on me. As I got older, around like 9 to 11, we started talking more. Eventually, I met a close friend of mine for a long time. That's when I met Dan. And then, I don't know, we just started hanging out every day. And man, for a while it was good. Like, even though we had our problems, you know, like sometimes we would just stop talking for a long time. Like if that was the end of the friendship, then I would ask him like what happened, and he'd be like, oh, I thought you were mad at me. And I don't know. That went on for like a long time. When I lost a bet with my brother, I ended up having to be his slave for a year and shave my head. And yeah, that sounds funny, but it was a pretty like drastic change in my life. He started like teaching me things, and we started hanging out, like being a lot closer, because no matter where I was in the house, it was like, I'd go fucking close my door and turn the light off. And you know, little shit like that. It's not like he had me doing anything crazy, but it was very irritating. He showed me movies, and I fell in love with movies. After that year was up, I felt different, but I felt like small. I felt small a lot. And my brother had a temper as well. As much as he protected me from things, we had our own problems. And, you know, part of you almost never shakes off that feeling about being small. And I'm not a tall guy, so I think sometimes people might attribute that to like my height, because I'm 5'7". It really has to do more with how I felt within my family, and how people who were around me before I was, you know, physically capable would treat me. And I still deal with that. Me and Dan got together, and we used to watch this dude named Freddie Wong on YouTube. Now he's known as Rocket Jump. And they had these clips like the cereal one where they robbed the grocery store and all this crazy shit. And we took an old iPod and this app called Action Movie Effects and started making these little action films that were awful, but so fun to shoot. We didn't even have prop guns, so we used the tips of our fingers. It was good times. All I wanted to do after that was make short films with lots of fights and explosions, but I aged a little and I started to see that that would be hard to like make a career out of, which is crazy that I drifted away from it before middle school. They really drill that into you way too early. I went to a middle school where I studied film, actual film photography, and got into one of the only schools that in the entire state even had dark rooms left, short of like a college. So I got to study photography at a really, really good base level, and then we learned Photoshop and stuff like that. So being friends with Dan, he went to this high school that was at the time a middle school transitioning into a high school called Arthur and Polly Mays. It's a magnet school once it converted into a high school, and they had a program for broadcasting.